What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, MoneTalks. I appreciate you coming back. I appreciate you listening. But today the topic is going to be Juneteenth. And I may have a different opinion on you than Juneteenth. So if you don't want to hear my opinion, you might ought to click off now and go on about your business, because I'm not going to be your normal liberal person on this Juneteenth stuff. I'm going to talk about an article today that was written in the USA Today from a young lady by the name of Nia Queen. I've never read any of her articles before, but I was just doing my normal news reading and I came across her particular article. And her article is Juneteenth has fallen victim to racial capitalism. Black Americans are no longer the focus. Okay, racial capitalism. I have never heard of the term racial capitalism. So I did like a good researcher and I decided I wanted to look it up. I wanted to find the definition of racial capitalism, as I'm kind of confused as to where she's going with this. So I said, let me just look this word up real quickly. Racial capitalism is the process of deriving value from the racial identity of others, harms the individuals affected and society as a whole. Yeah. You don't understand that? I don't really understand it either. But I want to go even further with this. Racial capitalism has serious negative consequences, both for individuals and for society as a whole. The process of racial capitalism relies upon and reinforces commodification of racial identity, thereby degrading that identity by reducing it to another thing to be bought and sold. Commodification can also foster racial resentment by causing non-white people to feel used or exploited by white people. And the superficial process of assigning value to non-whiteness within a system of racial capitalism displaces measures that would lead to meaningful and social reform. That reads like a bunch of bullshit that doesn't really make any sense. And that's kind of where you get when you start getting these liberal point of views where people just start throwing words out of their behind and just trying to make up stuff. They make up stuff to further some kind of agenda that they have going in their mind. Juneteenth basically was no more than a narrative that was told that basically said that supposedly so-called black people that were in the little area of Galveston, Texas, did not know they were free until 2.5 years after Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation. Abraham Lincoln signed it in 1863. Supposedly, black people in Galveston, and only in the Galveston area, didn't find out about that they were free until 1865, which I find that story, not unbelievable, weird. But anyway, let's move on. It doesn't matter what I feel right now, but let's move on into how she feels about Juneteenth and their celebration in Louisville, right? If not for humanity, access to education, nor reluctant police reform, Black Americans at least are owed a Freedom Day. See, that lets you know into her mentality right there, that black people are owed something. So who owes something to black people? So-called black people. Who owes it to them? Does white America owe black people something? Does government owe black people something? What exactly is owed? And if there is something owed to so-called black people, what is a day going to do? So you give them a day? So the payment for something, whatever she believes in her mind is owed, is just to give them a day. And the day is Juneteenth, a day that's now a federal holiday to commemorate the freedom of black people that actually happened in Galveston, but now you've made it nationwide. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but let's move on. Black Americans are at least owed a Freedom Day that is indicative of our past, not a fabricated celebration that centers on corporate on corporations and profit. So she doesn't want any corporations and profit involved in it. She just wants a day that's just honored by just Black Americans. And I'm assuming that she just wants Black Americans to celebrate it, and she doesn't want any corporations or anybody to profit from it. I'm assuming not even Black corporations or companies. I mean, that's my only assumption. Maybe she's talking about white people and she just doesn't want to say it. I don't know. But anyway, I digress. Louisville has lost the heart of Juneteenth, not even 5 years after it became a federal holiday. Well, Louisville should have never had the heart of Juneteenth, because Juneteenth has absolutely nothing to do with Kentucky, has absolutely nothing to do with California, has absolutely nothing to do with New York, Virginia, Georgia. I could go on and on. This was a day that, if anything, should be a city holiday for Galveston. But if we could even stretch it a bit further, since they made it a state holiday in 1980 in Texas, we could just leave it a state holiday. But to make it a federal holiday, that's a bit of a stretch. And that's why I think you probably have it more corporate based than anything, because most of the people don't know anything about that day. It is disheartening, she goes on to say further, it is disheartening that the Louisville Juneteenth Festival is not rooted in true community, but instead it is into the two P's, profits and pictures. The festival should be free with no tickets, no vendor fees, and no corporations. So what does she want? Does she want a backyard picnic? Does she want everybody to show up at a park with a potluck? I'm confused, because she's saying you can have a festival, but you're going to have a festival. How are you going to organize it? Who's going to sponsor it? Who's going to support it? This makes no sense. She wants a festival with no tickets, no vendor fees, and no corporations. I don't even know what you call that. I don't even know what you call that. Okay. But instead, Lynn Family Stadium will be hosting. Somebody from Louisville have to tell me what Lynn Family Stadium is. Okay, she said, but instead, Lynn Family Stadium will be hosting. If any, it should be a Black-owned business or one that is regularly in the network with Black Louisville. So, Lynn Family Stadium. I guess that's a white-owned family stadium. And she wants only Black-owned businesses. She thinks it only, I'm assuming she thinks it should be only a Black-owned business that is dealing with Juneteenth, but she just said in her earlier statement that she doesn't want any tickets, any vendor fees, and any corporations, but yet she wants it to be associated, or it should be Black-owned businesses or Black-owned corporations. That's why I said when you deal with this left side, this really liberal side, liberal people like this, they are very confusing in what they say. They make no sense. And then you're dealing with the pro-Black mafia. See, this young lady, she's already been indoctrinated into the pro-Black mafia. You can tell. You can tell, because when you're indoctrinated into the pro-Black mafia, none of what you say makes any sense at that point. It just doesn't make any damn sense. At 1 minute you're talking about, it shouldn't be corporations, it shouldn't be no money, it should be about all black power. Then, they're doing something, and next thing you know, Black businesses should only be involved, but we're not going to sell any tickets. So how's the Black business going to make any money? Explain that to me. How's the Black business going to make any money if there's no tickets, no vendor fees, and you don't want them to be incorporated or anyway? So how does that work? But anyway, I digress. At the next cookout, ask your family when is the last time they visited Lynn Family Stadium or even played soccer. Which isn't to say Black people don't visit the stadium or play soccer. Okay. It is to say such partnerships should follow cultural engagement and traditions. Okay, so it is Lynn Family Stadium for you people. I guess I'm right. It is a white family owned stadium. But she's saying that when was the last time Black folk visited? But I'm not saying Black people don't go there. I'm just saying, I don't know what she's saying. She doesn't even know what the fuck she's saying. I'm being honest. She doesn't even know what the hell she's saying. Okay, let's move on. This is a forced attempt at trying to blend two different communities when Juneteenth should be a day of Pan-Africanism. It is selling out the name of PR. See, that's this young lady's problem right there. She's been indoctrinated into the Tariq Nasheed, Dr. Umar Johnson, Jason Black. She's bought into this Pan-Africanism nonsense. And when they've bought into this pro-Black Pan-Africanism nonsense, this is what you get. You get a bunch of diatribe. You get a bunch of mixed messages. You get all of these different things when you're dealing with these people who speak this Pan-African nonsense. But anyway, let's move on. Similarly, as inconvenient as slavery was, we are not owed a Freedom Day that inconveniences the work week. June 19th falls on a Wednesday this year, yet the festival is on June 15th because it's a Saturday. Again, our freedom is contingent on some outside factor. Again, our freedom is contingent on some outside factor. I don't even get what she's talking about with that. Your freedom is not what outside factor was freedom contingent on before? Okay. This again, she's just rambling on. It's amazing. Okay. A Juneteenth festival true to Black liberation will be held on the day no matter what logistical efforts lie ahead, because that's how non-negotiable and unwavering our freedom is. So she's equating freedom to you having the parade or whatever in the middle of the week. Yet you would have to go back to work the next day, and you would work most likely the day before because you'd only get that one day off. So she's complaining in this article. Let me show you just how this is why people don't take these pro-Black folks seriously. At least the dominant society doesn't take them seriously. Instead of arguing or at least discussing something meaningful, being happy that, hey, a federal holiday was signed that really shouldn't be a federal holiday, all you can do is complain about it's capitalism. It's people selling things. You're partnering up with white companies. You're putting it on a Saturday when it should be on a Wednesday, and that's not how freedom works. Freedom should be whenever we want it to be. This is illogical thinking. And this is the reason why that we're in the position that we're in. People that think like this. But I guarantee you she might write like this and think like this, but she probably has a corporate job in some big quote unquote white firm. Yeah. And plus the USA Today, I don't think that's a Black newspaper, by the way. But anyway, let's move on. Juneteenth. Okay, it says Juneteenth as a federal and now state holiday is humorous to say the least. White people having a paid day off on Juneteenth is not only the antithesis of the entire day, it represents a sinister cycle of America reluctantly giving Black Americans what we are owed, and only if white America can benefit from it. So she wants white people to go to work on that day, and she wants Black people to have a paid day off, because that's how holidays work in America. Either she's extremely young and naive, or she's never worked in this country. I don't know what to say about this article. I don't know how USA Today even put this in here. I don't know. Do they have editors at USA Today? Somebody let me know. Do they have editors there? Because the fact that you were stupid enough to put this in an article, and the fact that the editor let this article get published, saying that white people are benefiting from a day that's quote unquote meant for Black people, it's got to be some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard. There's no holiday, regardless to the holiday, that they say one ethnicity go to work or not get paid, and one ethnicity or one race of people, hey, you stay home and you don't have to work, and and they have to go to work and you don't. I don't know what fantasy land she's living in. This woman, whoo, good Lord have mercy. Okay, we will struggle with housing, education, transportation, and health because of the generational ignorance to racism. Who's struggling with all that stuff? I would have her to know, Miss, let me go back. What's her name? I can't remember this crazy woman's name, Miss Queen. I would have her to know that education, the demographic that is the most educated in this country, in these United States of America, are black women. Yeah, black women. So I don't think, or so-called black women, I don't think they have any problems, the so-called black race is having any problems with education. Transportation, I don't know. I see some pretty nice cars, and a lot of brothers and sisters are driving them. I imagine you even have a car, so I don't think you even have a problem with transportation. I haven't heard of anybody black having problems with transportation. And health. Health is a bigger animal. Everybody has health problems in America because of the health system that we have, the sick care system that we have. So that's not a black thing. It's not a white thing. It's the food, it's the air, it's the water, but that's a whole nother video. And everybody's dying at the same ages around here. It's not like black people are dying at 30 and 40 and other races are living at 80 and 90. I mean, this is when you put a narrative out there and you're just throwing shit up against the wall and you're just hoping something sticks. Let's move on. To pay white people on Juneteenth is a slap in the face to every black American and the ancestors we came from. Woo, that's a statement. She said it's a slap in the face to pay white folks on Juneteenth. I guess she said, hey, look, we ain't gonna let y'all off. Y'all got to go to work while the black people sit around and reminisce on how the slaves were freed in Galveston. Nobody else was even affected by that. But anyway, and these sisters were so invested in helping black communities, they would commit to that notion materially. They would put their money where their mouths are. They would put their money where their mouths are. What are you talking about? Do you realize that so-called black people don't put money back into the black communities? Do you realize athletes don't do it? Middle-class black people don't put their monies back in ghettos in many occasions. Some do. Most don't. So you can't blame any other race for not lifting. See, this is one of these people who sit around and blame. They want to have this educated opinion, and it's a bunch of jargon and a bunch of nonsense of how they're really trying to push the blame off on other races of people. And actually, the problem is within them. The problem is in their mind. The problem is how they feel about themselves. But they're steadily deflecting and telling everybody else, oh, well, you know, we're oppressed. We don't have this and we don't have that. Well, you have everything that you're talking about. You don't have. But don't look at me. Don't look at the education I have. Don't look at my housing. Don't look at my car. Look at the lowest of low of the black people. Well, I mean, they could point to the lowest of low of their race, or their so-called race. But anyway, I digress. That's just me rambling on like she's doing. Okay. She says, let me get back to it. They would put their monies where their mouths are, but we as black Americans know better than to expect that. Yeah, black Americans need to expect to put their money where their mouth is. I don't know. I guess you want white people, after you criticize them this whole time in this article, talked about them, say they should get paid, say all this bad stuff about them, but yet they should be the ones that invest in us. Yeah. Good job, Miss Queen. Great job. So each year it'll get worse. Yeah, it'll get worse because all people like you do is sit around and talk about it. You just talk. You don't do anything. You just talk, and you beg and you beg you talk about white people and you want to guilt them into something that you should be doing for yourself. That's the problem. But anyway, more red and green will seep into marketing flyers. More partnerships will develop. More logos stamped on the backs of our shirts. More media fluff while allowing Louisville Metro Police Department and Jefferson County Public Schools to neglect us. Gosh. Gosh. Okay. Louisville Metro Police Department. If I was to put 9 on 10, I bet they have a black police chief. Okay, I bet they have several black officers in the Louisville Metro Police Department. But yet, if I point to that, you'll point and say, oh, no, see, you don't understand systematic racism. They can't do anything. Their hands are tied. It could be a black mayor, black city council. But no, you'll still point to some inadequacies that you found. And the Jefferson public school systems, I guarantee they probably, if not have several, they probably have a black superintendent, most likely, in the public school systems, or so-called black man or woman as superintendent. But if they don't, I'm sure they have so-called black people on the board. And if I said that to you, you would say, oh, but they're still systematic. The schools across town have so much, and the schools over here don't have anything, and it's white, and it's white, white privilege, and so on and so forth. That's what you would start saying. So, but anyway, I'll show you a picture of the police chief, and I'll show you a picture of the superintendent, and you make your decision. Okay, let's move on in this article and get this over with. Juneteenth is not an excuse for white corporations to partner with black organizations in the name of diversity. Okay, what do you want? If you sit a person like this down in front of just a normal white person, and that white person, and they would go to telling the white person about all the racism they experience, all of the inadequacies and all of the inequalities that they face, and that white person asks them a simple question: what do you want me to do? They'll go all around. I want you to acknowledge it. Okay, I've acknowledged. If he says, I acknowledge everything that you just told me, now what? They will say nothing. They will sit there and whine and cry the whole time, but they will never say any solutions to any of this stuff that they're talking about. Okay, but like let me go on with and finish this order. But like Martin Luther King Jr.'s day and gay pride, Juneteenth has been swept up by racial capitalism and spat back out to us at double the price at a fraction of the impact. I bet she thought she said something smart. That's how she ends the article. Spat it back at us at double the price and a fraction of the impact. Oh my God. I guarantee you, people like this, they are the kind of people that went to white universities. And you don't have to tell me. I'm looking at the bottom of her thing. She's a graduate of Western Kentucky University, where that college is 80% white and about 7 or 8% black. They go to these white colleges and they espouse, they get hired at big white corporations and they espouse all this black talk. Oh yeah, black people this, black people that, and pro-black and pro-black. But you weren't thinking pro-black when you picked the college out. A lot of these pro-black guys, when you went out to date, you weren't talking pro-black when you got Becky at home. And don't get me wrong, I don't care what college you go to. I don't care what woman you bed, or what man you bed. That's not any of my business. But what you're not gonna do is you're not gonna come around here preaching all that pro-black shit to me and expect me to listen to it. And you write these articles about Juneteenth and how white people shouldn't be involved, and you don't want to partner with white folks, but yet you in here, but you want somebody to acknowledge you and put money back into the community. Well, who are you talking about? If you don't want them to put money into it, you don't want to partner with anybody, you don't want to be diverse, but yet you want somebody to invest in your community. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about the big white corporations that you don't want involved? Are you talking about the black businesses that you don't want to sell tickets or have any corporate sponsorships? Are you talking about the white people that you don't want to give the day off and you want them to work while so-called black people don't work? Do you want the black people that are at this festival that aren't putting anything involved, aren't buying any tickets? Do you want them to invest? Just what do you want? I don't know if you know what the hell you want. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe, and share. I'm out.